Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Monday, June the 13th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by two of the sharpest people in the entire DFS industry, Mr. Josh Crash Davis and Miss Deb Lutz. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you on this phenomenal Monday?
Doing great.
Doing well, Coach. Doing well. That's high praise. I appreciate that, and consider yourself one as well.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, we will see. We got a big week ahead here at Coach Talk, but we're most excited for this first breakdown. We're going to do a little bit different of a pod today. We've got all three of us on as highly demanded here. If any of us sit out, everybody gets mad. So you know what? We're all here. All three of us. We're going to talk about the all-important NBA Finals Game 5, 2-2. We're back at Golden State. What an incredible game this is going to be. We're going to go through that, break it down, talk about the last game a little bit, where we're looking, what we're looking to fade. We'll throw a few prize picks plays in there for you. And then Deb is going to drop off, and Crash and I are going to go right directly into today's MLB main slate that starts this evening. It's a great slate for MLB as well. So you can drop off if you only want to listen to basketball, make it more convenient for everybody if you want to check out both. So first of all, if you're watching on YouTube, quick thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that. That means a lot to us. Hit that subscribe button so that you are aware of all of our podcasts. And if you hit the alert up in the corner, that little alarm will let you know every single time any of our podcasts post as a premiere. So if you want to jump in, catch them right when they post, you can get in there, chat a bit. We get some good chats going during those premieres. So we would love that. Also want to thank our presenting sponsor, which is PrizePicks. If you go to prizepicks.com, sign up for the first time with the promo code Coach Talk, make that first deposit. They'll match you dollar for dollar all the way up to $100 as long as you use that Coach Talk word. So as long as that promo word's in there, Coach Talk, you're good to go. All right, we are going to jump into basketball here, and we can set the stage a little bit for this game. We've got again, what kind of buildup do you need for a game like this? All the emotions are high. It's a fantastic feeling. Before we start breaking down the entire game, since both of you have really followed one team and the other for us throughout the playoffs, Deb, let's start with you. What are your initial feelings here on Boston's mindset? Where are they at? Where do you think they're looking at coming into this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big letdown the last game. They came in with a lot of confidence and they were riding pretty high, and it looked like they were going to pull it out. And then Golden State just outplayed them in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was a reversal. It's usually Golden State in the third quarter, Boston in the fourth, but here it was a reverse. Yeah. And Golden State came out the winner. I think they're probably pretty down about that. They've got to really, muster up, winning on the road. Game 5 of the finals is going to be tough, particularly against champions like Golden State. So they've got to really, really pull it together. And, I expect a really, really good game from both sides in this one.
Yeah. And Boston seems to be able to go good game, bad game, back and forth forever. So who knows? Maybe they throw a really great game in here. We'll have to see. Crash, what's your take on the Warriors side of things?
Yeah, I just was looking this up because I wasn't sure the exact number, but it's been since March since Boston lost consecutive games. So,
wow.
Yeah, they've really been able to bounce back well. Obviously, they haven't lost back-to-back games in the playoffs. Golden State, they kind of did what I expected them to do, just based on how they've performed in the past. Steph Curry especially just always steps up in that situation on the road. The series kind of on the line. They don't want to go down 3-1. And I mean, he just comes through. So that's kind of why I went with them in my projection for the last game. And I mean, I don't expect anything from him to slow down, but I do think that Boston will play very well tonight. So,
yeah, it should be a phenomenal game. It is fantastic. So,
yeah,
can't wait. Well, let's break it down a little bit. We've got Golden State favored by 4. So Vegas has really been steady, man. They like,
yeah,
hey, this is an even series. Whoever's home, they're going to be a 3 or 4 point favorite, period. That's the end
right.
of the story. So we're back to that. It's 210.5. Again, that hasn't moved a whole lot, 3 or 4 points one way or the other. So everything seems status quo. Now, we do have 3 people listed as questionable here. I personally expect them to play, but let's see as the day goes on here. I mean, it's early Monday morning, so we have to see how this, happens throughout the day. But Robert Williams on the Boston side, and then Porter and Iguodala on the Golden State side. So we'll see, what those 3 guys look like. I think they'll be part of what's going on. I totally expect that. Without question. What do you guys think on those 3? Are you counting them in your initial projections, Crash?
Yeah, I feel like throughout the playoffs, we've just seen this where these guys are listed on the injury report and then they always end up playing. So there's a few exceptions, but for the most part, that's been the case.
Deb?
Yeah, totally agree. They're playing. They're playing until their arms and legs fall off.
Okay,
yeah,
so we got everybody. You think everybody's playing, so there you go. That's good. We gotta, because it's in these showdown slates, it's that last guy in that makes the difference half the time.
Yeah.
All right, let's attack the Boston side first. Let's look at a couple of things, and I'm going to throw it to Deb for her breakdown and what she sees coming here. A lot of what we expected, Tatum almost 43 minutes, and he got up 23 shots, had the ancillary stats. I mean, just DFS, stud without question. Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart both played right almost 40 minutes, got up 19 and 18 shots. So they stayed very active offensively. And then Derek White getting 12 shots up in 35 and a half minutes. So, what we kept talking about really started to show here is, going small, playing White the extra minutes. We predicted that correctly, but putting the right combination of guys together correctly is always the difficult part. And then, you've got Horford and Williams. And the amazing thing is Williams actually played more minutes than Horford, which, that's got to be the lead part of our discussion. Horford played 28 and Williams played 31 and a half. That's probably the most minutes he's played this season.
Yeah.
So that's something I want to address immediately. And then really, other than those 6, hardly anybody played at all. Grant Williams and Peyton Pritchard for a cup of coffee. But I guess we're down to 6 guys, Deb. How do you see this playing out? Same rotation?
We are. Yeah, absolutely. I don't see them going away from it. I think I think they're finding a rotation they like. I think Robert Williams, I was happy to see him playing that 31 minutes. I'm thinking that means he's getting stronger. So I don't see that changing either. I think he brings a lot to the table when he plays. The defense is just unreal. I mean, the way he's able to challenge those shots and redirect those shots. So I think they go similar. I do think that Williams playing the extra minutes is affecting Horford. Horford seems to be the forgotten guy in this one, very different from the previous series where he's just, he only took 6 shots in the last one. And, I don't know if it's because of, Draymond Green and his defense and just overall, just the way that Golden State's defense operates, but he doesn't seem to be able to get free for that 3-pointer as much as he was in the previous series. And, even his rebounds are down a little bit. So, between Tatum and Brown, I still see Tatum continuing to get more shots, continuing to get more ancillaries. I mean, I think you said it in an earlier pod, Coach, that he's really the point guard effectively.
Oh,
You know,
no
the ball's
doubt.
in his hands all the time.
Yeah.
So I see it playing out pretty similarly in terms of shot selection. I think Tatum will still get the most. I think you'll have Brown getting second most and Smart coming in there. You know, Derek White's the interesting one. He is absolutely getting the minutes. They're absolutely relying on him. I don't see that changing.
No.
But I also don't see him having the kind of games that he had in the last series. And I think, again, that's due to the Golden State defense. There's a reason that that they were number one defensively, or they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Golden State was
Yeah.
2 and Boston was 1.
Okay, 2. So yeah, I mean, I think Derek White, he's not able to. He took 12 shots. He made 4 of them. So he's going to be an important part of the game. He's certainly that 6th guy. I just don't know when you look across at the Golden State side, comparing him to like a Poole at this point, who's also coming up, who you end up looking at. But
Right.
But he's certainly getting the minutes to be playable.
No doubt. Let's get your take on Boston. We'll switch and do both at the same time here rather than flipping to Golden State, because I mean this is a key. I mean the thing about this is it's not like when we're going over other games and you're finding the right guys. I mean, you got to go so deep here because you can't make a mistake on the last guy anywhere, or in these showdowns you're dead. Yeah. So what do you think about Boston, Crash?
It's been my experience that every time that Boston loses, Tatum comes in, just, balls to the wall. He's on fire and he just goes and kills it, especially in the first half. So I definitely like Tatum tonight. He's my top play from Boston, obviously. And I also, I don't disagree with Deb necessarily on Derek White, but I kind of feel like he's going to be a key play. We've seen with Marcus Smart, he'll have a couple good games and then he'll fall off. And I think this might be a game where he regresses a little bit. So I like Derek White a little bit to step up. And then Jaylen Brown, I mean, he's just solid. You can always count on him. I would lean more towards Tatum, but I don't have any problem with Brown. And then Derek White would probably be the 2 main guys I'm looking at from Boston. So.
Yeah, and there are a couple interesting takes. If you watch back to when we did the preview podcast of this final series, that's the frustrating part for me because again we're always completely transparent here at Coach Talk, and I have not had a really strong series DFS wise. I mean, my takes have been there, but I'm missing on the last guy in or so. That's why I keep harping on it. But, I stated at the beginning of the series, I felt like what I saw from the coach and what I saw from the player was that Derek White was now going to be one of the key pieces for Boston. And I felt he'd play 30, 35 minutes a game when other people didn't think he would. My problem is I thought it would be in lieu of just Robert Williams and Al Horford. I thought that they would go small. And you know what? That has happened. However, what I didn't expect is for Marcus Smart to continue to get the amount of minutes that he's getting when Derek White is getting those. So I feel like I hit that correctly. But the combination of guys that are in there have been a little bit tricky. But I do think Derek White at his price, I mean, you can't buy all the expensive guys. So, White's price is up a little bit, but, is he worth it with 1 rebound and 1 assist? If he only had 1 rebound and 1 assist in 35 and a half minutes, that's a concern. Because if you're talking he's going to be point dependent, then maybe he's not the greatest place to go to.
Right. And that's my concern with him.
Yeah. And I agree with what Deb said. I think none of us really anticipated that Robert Williams would take on a 31 and a half minute game because the coach has told us throughout this series, he's going to be limited to 15, 20 minutes. And the first 3 games, he played like 15, 20 minutes. So obviously he's feeling better. I think it's because they've had these massive gaps of days. I mean, before it was you had a game, your day off, you had a game, your day off. I mean, there were no breaks. Now it's like game 2 days off, game 3 days off. So,
Yeah.
These guys that are dinged up are really healing up. So, long story short here, I'm back on 100% on the Robert Williams train here. And, it's not, okay, the guy had one good game, let's jump on. He really didn't. He only took 3 shots. I mean, if he gets 6 shots and can hit those 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, a steal, he's going to get some defensive stats, some stocks are going to be there. So I think Robert Williams just shines like a star here. And, it makes me fade Horford because here's the thing. We somewhat overrated Horford coming into this because he hit 1,000,000 threes against Milwaukee. And nobody knows more than Crash. Milwaukee couldn't guard the 3-point line to save their life this year. And so a lot of those were puffed up stats. And then in the last series, the defense that they played, they did not have the same interior defense. They used a different set of circumstances with Miami, and it gave Horford a little bit more freedom, even though his stats came down. So long story short for me again here, it's Tatum seems unfadable. I wish I could get Jaylen Brown in. Playing both of them last time was great, but I just didn't have the cheap guys correctly. Robert Williams is my next guy up. And then I think if you can go cheap, I think Derek White's the spot to go. So that's how I'm looking at Boston.
And I'm just to summarize for where I am Tatum, Williams, and Smart are my 3. Okay. And I really like Williams as captain on DK.
Okay.
Well, Tatum, Williams, and Smart combined for 60 shots last game. So if you can get that, Deb, from those 3, you're going to be in good shape because the team only took 85. Those 3 guys took 60 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. We're all in the same place for the most part. I like Tatum, Williams, and White, but I still like Williams as well. So
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, let's shift to the Golden State Warriors. Crash, why don't you do your deal here? What do you got on Golden State?
I mean, obviously Curry, to me, he's still the top play on the slate. I would prefer him over Tatum personally. He's been the best player in the series. He would be the finals MVP so far, obviously.
By a mile.
And he had his best game in game 4, 43 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 14 of 26 from the field, 7 for 14 from 3, 64 DraftKings points. He's just been unreal.
He's not human.
I could not fade him. There's no way I could fade him in any format. So we can just move on from him, I think. I think Wiggins is my second favorite player. He does more peripheral wise than Klay Thompson. Klay's going to have to score 40 points basically to have the kind of night to break the slate. So I think Wiggins would be my second favorite option. I like Jordan Poole coming off the bench. He had that strong game in game 2 last time they were in San Francisco and Golden State. And I like him as a little bit of a value option. He's 5,800 in the flex on DraftKings. I like that price. And then I like Gary Payton also for value. We only need 15 to 20 fantasy points from him. That's about what he's been getting in his better games in this series. And that's kind of what I'm looking from him, for him to score tonight. So that would be my top 3 would be Curry, Wiggins, and Poole, and then value with Payton. I think Draymond will regress a little bit. He kind of got a fire lit under him coming off the bench in that last game. So I think he'll regress just a little bit, but still play decently. So that's my take on Golden State.
Okay. Deb, what do you got?
Yeah, very similar take. Far and away Curry. And I do favor Curry slightly over
Okay.
So if I have to make a choice between the 2, I'm going Curry. He's just playing on a whole different level. And we keep joking about, how he's got, from a physical standpoint, like no right to be excelling like he is.
Right.
Amazing.
It's amazing. So Curry, very, very similar to Crash. I really like Wiggins is number 2. He's just been solid. And he's going to be in there and getting the minutes and getting defensive stats as well.
Yeah.
And at a fair price point in that range, there's a bunch of guys in that range, on both sides. And I think he comes out pretty favorable. And then Poole's price is still down. He showed the last game that he can play and he can be valuable. So I think the coach trusts him and goes back to that. I know his defense is a bit of an issue, but they need that offense. And so I think he's a nice plug in there. I think he's taking the minutes away from Peyton, and I think he'll play more again as long as he's getting his shot in. And then I do differ a little bit on Draymond. I think he's sort of been harassed. He's been embarrassed. Yeah. Now he's back home. He's going to have the crowd behind him. So I think the environment that he was in Boston was really tough to play in. On the broadcast, they just talked about how crazy it was that they were benching him, but how, how basically, bold it was of Kerr to do that. And agreed, but it worked. And then he came back, fired up at the end. So I think he's going to be fired up in this game and to show, the Boston fans how he can help his team to win. So I like him. He's a little lower price than some of the other guys like, Wiggins and Smart and even Horford. So he may be the guy that I fill in there.
Yeah. I have a tendency to agree with that. I think Kerr is one of the best coaches in the league. And I think he truly just, Green was in a combustible situation there. And I think he just tried to diffuse it as best he could and get him to a point where, they could get him out of Boston and let him, relax at home. And the home crowd's going to be highly behind him. So that is a big component to this game. I agree with you, but he was 1 for 7 from the field in 33 minutes. So, that's not great, but I agree. I'm going to be pro Draymond tonight. And I know a lot of people are going to say, why? He's had just a horrible season. He still has more fouls than points.
I know.
And that's like a craziest stat ever. But here's where I see him coming out of it. One, everything Deb said plus. I mean, he's a very proud individual. And on his home court with his home fans, the fact that he was able to grab 9 rebounds, have 8 assists, 4 steals. I mean, those are some ancillaries and if he makes a few more buckets, I think his price has come down to the point where I think he's a key component to this game. And so I'm gonna be on him. I think he's in the right scenario here. Curry, let's face it, Curry's right now to the spot that we keep talking about. Luka, Joker, Giannis. I mean, he's just a step above everybody. There's nobody on the court that is in his league right now. So how you can fade Curry here, I just don't see how you can do it. So I'm with you there. Wiggins has been the steadiest, most consistent, safest, best cash play for DFS players throughout this series. He leads them in minutes every game. He played 43.5 minutes again, and he's doing a little bit of everything. He's scoring, he's hitting some threes, and he's crashing the glass like nobody's business. I mean, 16 rebounds.
Right.
And that's going to regress, but his minutes are just fantastic. The places that have been my pitfalls is trying to find the cheap guy to plug in there from Golden State, and it really does bite you. Porter only played 14 minutes, did nothing. Peyton played 9 minutes, 54, did nothing. For me, how much can I trust Poole? 20 minutes, yes, he's a volume shooter, but he doesn't have enough minutes to get the ancillary numbers. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist again. So I'm probably going to steer clear of that. I think I'm going to go back more to Draymond Wiggins. But Klay Thompson, we're getting in Klay territory, game 5s, game 6s, whatever it is. At home, he played almost 41 minutes. He did get up 17 shots, made 4 threes. He's probably going to go under-owned again, and rightfully so. But this could be one of those games where he drops 35 real points too. So I don't think he's out of it. But My dilemma is this: I don't like any of the scrubs on either team. So I'm wondering if I could get a salary increase for my lineup.
Yeah, really.
Do that. So what gives here? So that's my big final question.
That plays into Deb's little Captain Robert Williams play.
And it could
might work. Yeah.
I'm saying on the full, let's look at the full picture here real quickly here. And you guys both give me a couple of candidates here. If I'm building my lineup and I don't want to play Peyton, I don't want to play Bielitsa, I don't really even want to play Poole, and I do not want to play Grant Williams or Peyton Pritchard. Okay? So that leaves me with 6 Celtics and 6 or 7. That leaves me with 6 Warriors. Can I make a lineup with those 12 guys? Now, granted, if I do, who do I sit? Tatum, Curry? I mean, you can't play them both and not play one of those scrubs. So do you find a way to fit both of those guys in? And if you do, my question is, who's the cheap guy? So on the spot here for all of our listeners, I need you guys to coach me up on what am I going to do here.
So
Crash,
you can,
what do you think?
Yeah, I just tried it. You can make a lineup with all those guys except for Tatum. The Clay, Wiggins, Curry.
So Tatum would be the guy out if I'm going to go that way.
Yeah, with Williams at captain. Yeah.
You're saying Tatum would be the guy out?
Yeah, Tatum would be the guy if you did it that way. Yeah,
exactly.
So that's probably the way to go.
I don't think you can get there with Tatum unless you go to a Peyton or something like that.
No, you can't.
No.
So that's probably the key. If we really don't want to, personally, if I don't want to go down to any of those guys that could get 10 minutes and bomb, is the sacrifice is going to be Tatum, probably.
Yeah. So
the only other, that's exactly right. The sacrifice is Tatum. And
any other angle, Deb?
No, you can do it with a couple of different guys on top.
Hey, we have a guest. We have a guest in the background. I can see him. Hey, who do you like? Ask him, who should we fade?
He'll know. Do we fade Tatum or do we fade Curry?
I fade Tatum.
He fades Tatum.
Okay.
There you go.
Well,
the oracle has spoken.
You didn't think you get 4 opinions on this show.
That's right. Bonus.
So Tatum's the odd man out for our squad. Now, just because I'm doing that, let's hear your 2 strategies. Are you going with the cheaper guy? It sounds like Crash may go Peyton and then trying to get both in. What are you doing, Deb? At least right now.
It's funny. I do have to say, now that all 4 of us had said fade Tatum,
you're playing
Tatum's going to be the top guy on the slate tonight.
Yeah.
Right. I am going with a mid-range guy, either Green or Williams as my captain, and they're able to make it work without any of the cheap guys.
And with Tatum out, and either Green or Williams is the I like that.
Yeah,
Crash,
it's so tough because
you're sticking with Porter?
Porter,
Peyton.
No, it's so tough because one thing I've noticed is, just having like a 38-point score versus a 34 can make all the difference in the world.
Absolutely.
So on these showdown slates, it's just crazy. So it's really tough. I want to go with Curry as my captain and, play Tatum too. But then you do have to go down to the values, type plays. Grant Williams, the Gary Paytons, the second. Peyton Pritchard's, those kind of guys. So I'm starting to second guess myself a little bit on my strategy here. So I might end up going with Wiggins as captain or Williams or something like that. So
it's really the only strategies are you go stars and scrubs and hope some of your scrubs get in there.
Yeah.
Or you sacrifice one of the big boys and use your captain as one of the mid-price guys. That's really what it's come down to. I don't see any other path to victory other than those 2 strategies. So it's not easy. These showdown slates are way tougher than the others. There's no
Yeah,
doubt.
I think didn't the winning lineup last time have Williams as the captain? The last
Robert Williams?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it did.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
So
all right, so that gives you our feel, our strategies, how we're looking at it. And now that we've had a good 4-game sample size, I mean, we know what we're going to get. It's just a matter of how you're going to combine that and get it done.
Yeah, and that's a DraftKings thing, right? That
Correct.
We're not talking about for FanDuel and Yahoo that we're going to have to put those guys at captain.
FanDuel and Yahoo is a complete
captain.
Yeah.
So
you can't. Now I will say this though. On FanDuel, the reason I bulked them all together is no, you don't have to use a Williams or Draymond or anything, a captain on FanDuel and Yahoo, but you still have to eliminate one of the big boys.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, I mean, you either go stars and scrubs or you eliminate a Tatum again or whatever the case may be. And then you can go captain, Curry, second guy, Wiggins, whatever, and make a strong lineup that way. But, it's either or. I mean, if you really do want to go, which I've done and it hasn't been successful though. That's why I'm changing strategies though. A lot of times I'll go Tatum, Curry, Brown, and then 2 Slamuchis from down the street. And what happens is, I'm not getting Bielitsa or Poole or Porter or, it's impossible. So, we're going to shift strategies here a little bit on my side and see if it works.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. How about PrizePicks? By the way, they're our presenting sponsor. I would also like to say this. If you want more of this wonderful information and you want to enjoy the input from these phenomenal people of Crash and Deb, join us at DFS Coach Talk. All you have to do, go to dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up for any of our memberships, even as little as a 3-day for $10. You get all access of everything we've got, and that's NBA, MLB, PGA right now. It's US Open this week. We've got some hot NASCAR stuff going on, MMA, UFC. I never know which one's which, but they're both, to me, they both count the same. And we got all that. So come and join us. You get all our Discord, all our lineups. We do a clipboard or a core for DraftKings, full lineups on Yahoo and FanDuel. And we're in there in Discord constantly watching the weather, checking out things that we need to follow for the game. So let us do the homework for you. Check out our podcast in front of the paywall every day. And then just sign up with us. Give us a try at DFS Coach Talk. And you get a free one-on-one session with any of our pros here to talk strategy. So when you become a member, that's part of your membership. We'll really work on contest selection, bankroll management, all the pieces that can help you be a consistent, sustainable winner in DFS over the long haul. And that's what we're all shooting for. Yeah. All right. PrizePicks. Deb, you want to go first?
You got it. All right. So let's see what we got today. Turnovers were not on there yet. I was very disappointed.
And your man Tatum had 6, by the way.
Exactly. Right. So once again, so unless I refresh and it's on there, because it was not on there this morning. Let's see.
Yeah. Sometimes they add stuff late.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to be looking for it. But in the meantime, my first one, because this has been doing real well for us, is Golden State Warriors starters over 1/2 of a free throw in the first 6 minutes. They've been killing that. So all you need is 1 free throw shot in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah, that seems like an easy attainable goal. I like that.
1/2.
Yeah.
Because I've got the same prop and I've got 0.5.
Yeah, 0.5. 1/2. Yeah, sorry.
A half.
0.5. A half. Yeah.
A half and 0.5 are equal.
Usually the same.
Yeah. Math class after
today's math class brought to you by Mr.
by PrizePicks.
I have it at 0.632.
Oh, well, in that case, forget it. I'm out.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. All right. So I'm taking Steph Curry over 30.5 points. I think he goes. Honestly, I think he might go for 50 tonight. 50
Oh
real
my
points.
goodness.
Yeah.
That's all? Just 50 real points?
Just 50 real points. Yeah.
Oh, call and record it now so you can post it when he pops 50. I'm going to go in the absolute opposite end of the world. My dude only needs 6.5. I'm going Draymond Green over 6.5 points, also known as 6.5. Just so you know. So, I mean, if I'm going to play Draymond and I can't get 6.5 points out of him for the whole game in a game 5 in Golden State, I mean, yeah. So there you go. That's my first. Deb, what do you got for pick 2? We'll give 2 each today.
All right. I've got Robert Williams over 7.5 rebounds. Again, if I'm putting him in that captain spot, he better get me some rebounds.
Oh, you need him to do it all for sure. Mr. Crash.
All right. I'm going to go with a different one, but I wanted to do one just to show I know math. But I was going to say Klay Thompson over 19 and 8/16 points, but I'm just going to say Jason Tatum over 22 first half fantasy score. So he's gone over that number in all but one of his last 5 games going back to the Eastern Conference Finals. He's averaging 28 fantasy points in the first half in his last 5 games. So really comes out strong and then I guess kind of fades because he hasn't been going 50, 60 fantasy points in these games. So he must fade in the second half. So
interesting. Makes perfect sense. I'm going to go Derek White over 2 rebounds because I think he gets 30, 35 minutes and really, you don't have to even box out. The ball could bounce your way a couple times,
Yeah, just ask Andrew Wiggins about that one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
16 rebounds.
It's just, sometimes that happens. And if you only need 2 of them, you tell me any guy in the NBA is going to play 30 minutes, almost anybody, even point guards, I would hope they can get 2 rebounds.
Yeah. Wiggins feels like a trap. He's at 6.5 rebounds. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
That's probably a good underplay. It really is.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. All right, let's finish up the basketball portion of this wonderful podcast with our picks for the game. We've been pretty steadily on our picks. We should be playing the game bets. I think has been our hottest side.
Yeah, I wish we could play those. I can't play those in Arkansas. I don't know if you guys can, but
no, me neither.
Yeah, can you, Deb? Can you do stuff? Oh,
yeah, I know. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right, Deb, what do you got?
Yeah, I think Golden State back at home. I think they take another one, and I think the score. What's that?
You got a score for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 108-106.
Okay.
Close one.
Yeah. I'm going with a close one as well. I'm going to go Golden State 111, Boston 110.
Nice.
Okay. Wow.
I'm going to go Golden State as well. We always pick the same sides here. But like I say, we've been right on it. And I have Golden State winning the series, so I can't go from them now. But I think Golden State wins 110-100. I'm going to say by 10. I think they step up. I think Draymond steps up. Curry's just on another planet right now. So I think it's going to be a tougher test. But, we've said it all along. Beware Boston. They never lose 2 in a row.
They lose back to back.
So buyer beware on that one for sure.
So
if
we're going to see
trends, then Boston probably is the play.
Yeah. I think
it'll be interesting to see if that streak gets broken. March, you said, right?
March.
It's a big streak.
And they're getting 4 on top of it. So.
Yeah, I was going to say they're getting 4. So Deb and I both picked them to cover if we were looking at it from a Vegas standpoint. So.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Outstanding. Anything else? Any final words, Deb? Because I know you're going to take off and do your stuff now and get ready for the game.
No, I think I'm going to go play that parlay.
Let's do it.
Big money tonight. Definitely.
That's right. I think, who was it? Mike S. in Discord predicted today's going to be a big fantasy day for Coach Talk. So
Hey,
Oh,
I'm all
beautiful.
for it.
Right? All right, here we go. Takedowns. I can't wait to listen to the MLB podcast to, hear what to play there as well. So
And
Yeah.
remember, if Tatum completely burns us, it's Deb's husband's fault.
that's right.
His 10-second
Yeah.
appearance on screen,
That's right.
he's now on the hook.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, Deb.
All right, guys.
All right,
Take
Deb,
care.
have a good
Have
Thanks.
a
one.
great one.
See ya. Bye.
And now, if you're interested in the baseball side of things, I'm going to switch one thing on here so you don't have to look at the extra lines. There you go. Now we're going to dive right into this awesome MLB slate. So we'll make sure and put the timestamp on there for anybody that wants to click off, or if you want to catch baseball, we are diving straight into this. So exciting lineup tonight. I'm so fired up for this lineup of games. We've got one game that looks extremely questionable, and that's Chicago White Sox at the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
That game is the one I'm not counting in my initial projections just because I think it's that shaky. The one that we'll watch throughout the day, and it's really mainly because it's just in Washington, and they're the quirkiest ever of canceling games. It's Atlanta and Washington. There's supposed to be a few pop-up storms, but not much. But if anything does happen there, we'll keep everybody posted. But for now, maybe a sprinkle in Chicago for the San Diego game. But I really think Detroit's really our only fear right now. So are you on the same page with that, Crash?
Yeah, it definitely looks like Detroit's the biggest concern. The games with the Cubs and the Nationals to a lesser degree, but I will say it is Washington, so we're gonna have to be careful because they're notorious for messing everyone's night up because they cancel a game when it shouldn't have been canceled. So
exactly, and there's nothing worse than taking goose eggs like that. That is the worst,
for sure,
no doubt. But we do have a massive slate, and it's the same. All starting at 7:05 p.m. Eastern, the same main slate for Draftkings, Fanduel, and Yahoo. And boy, does that make our life a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially coming off the weekends when there's 15 slates and different games in every one of them. So we got a good, strong look at it all. So we're going to do it as we normally do. We'll go over some pay-ups, some fades. We'll take a look at our HR calls stacks, which we forgot the other day, which is hilarious, prize picks and all of that stuff. So again, I want to thank our presenting sponsor for both of these podcasts, both the NBA and MLB, and that is PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com, sign up with the promo code Coach Talk, all one word, no space. And on your first deposit, they'll match you dollar for dollar all the way up to $100. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, and you're staying with us for the second part or just tuning in for the baseball side, this is the time to hit that thumbs up. That is very, very important to us on YouTube. That helps us move up the algorithm and get the word out to more people. And if you'd hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and then click that little alarm in the upper corner. That will give you an alert anytime any of our podcasts post. And we're putting up podcasts every day for baseball, our NBA podcast, PGA, U.S. Open this week. It's going to be a really jam-packed, fun week here. And then on the weekend, we get NASCAR and UFC and MMA and all that stuff involved as well. So come join us at Coach Talk. We would love to have you without question. All right, sir. Pay up pitcher. Always a tough one to say on this slate. You got a ton of choices. Where are you going to go today?
I'm going to go with Alek Manoah. He's 10-8 on FanDuel, 9,800 on DraftKings. He's up at home against the Baltimore Orioles. They have the 7th highest strikeout rate. They've scored the 7th fewest runs per game. Manoah has a quality start in all but one of his 11 starts this year. And he went up against Baltimore last October, towards the end of the year, and he pitched 7 innings, allowed 1 run, and had 10 strikeouts. So I like the matchup for him. They do have a couple bats in Ryan Mountcastle and Cedric Mullins that have had some success against him, but for the most part, he's held their lineup in check. In a small sample size, but he has held their lineup in check. So I just feel like he's a safer option. than Sandy Alcantara against the Phillies, or even Aaron Nola. I think he can get hit a little bit against Miami in a more hitter-friendly park in this kind of time of year, especially with the weather. The ball's been flying out of late. So
yeah, and Nola definitely can give up the home run ball.
yeah,
And this is an interesting slate though, because yesterday there were a ton of pitchers that I was wanting to roster. And our guys actually came through for us with a nice SP1 and SP2 and really helped us cash in a lot of things. But today it's like, is there anybody worth that pay up? And, it's very odd because we give our picks. I'm not going to force a pay up here because I don't want to pay up for Alcantara, Nola, or Manoah. I don't feel like they're the right spots. And part of the reason that I don't want to go Manoah is because I think he's going to be so ridiculously chalky. I mean, 7-1 with a 1.81 ERA against a Baltimore team. I think seems obvious. And I'm not dogging your pick. I think it's a great pick. It's just there's two things in play here. Number one, as good as Manoah is, there has been a string of games here where he hasn't had a massive amount of strikeouts. And that concerns me. 4 and 5 in the last 2 games. He had a decent one against the Angels, but then he had 4, 4, 3. And that just, to pay that kind of money for a guy that I don't know how many strikeouts he's going to get. Now, granted, his FanDuel scores have been decent. He's the safest play. I think everybody's going to have him in cash. But that's going to be my stand today is I'm not going to play Manoah. Some of it's because of leverage. So shout out to Mike S. That's their luck charm. I just am going to go elsewhere. And I'll give you another reason why I feel that. Baltimore's a better hitting team than people realize. They have some good young hitters. They're starting to come together hitting wise. Even though they're, 9 games under 500. Baltimore now with the change of the fences is a hard place to hit.
Right.
And it went from just you could pop a home run over that little fence there like nobody's business to being a monster. And, the fact that they can stack up Mullins, Mancini, Santander, Hayes, Mountcastle, the rookie Rutschman, who hasn't gotten it quite going yet at catcher, Odor's finding a little bit of more in his career. And you've got lefties against Manoah in Mullins, Santander, Rutschman, Odor. So I think he's a safe play, but I am not going to spend up. I'm going to go with 2 mid-price pitchers today and load up on the bats.
Okay. So you feel like playing in Toronto, it's an advantage to Baltimore bats versus Baltimore right now? Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I think I would rather, there are several several outs in the outfield in Baltimore this season that would have been homers in Toronto.
Yeah. Okay. That's
fair. My theory there. And again, you're going to be with 75% of the general public, and it makes sense. And if he happens to throw a 10 strikeout game and get a 60 burger, then I'm done. But if he strikes out 3 and gives up a couple of homers and gets 25 at, 80% ownership or some insanity, then I think I can find some pitchers that can get similar numbers and give me all that extra bank for my hitters.
Okay. That's fair.
That's, you got to take.
So you're not going to go with a pay up option is what you're saying, basically.
So, right. So I'm passing on my pay up and I'll give two neutral guys here as far as value, if you want to call it that.
Okay.
So do you want to give me your value and then I'll throw my 2 value / plays in here?
Yeah, we can
double
do that.
SP2 today.
Yep. I'm going to go with Josiah Gray. Now we will have to keep an eye on the weather, like we were talking about with Washington. Right. But he's 9,200 on FanDuel, 8,900 on DraftKings, going up against Atlanta, which doesn't sound like the most favorable matchup, but they have had the second highest strikeout rate.
Right.
And he faced them earlier in Atlanta. this year, and he pitched 5 shutout innings and he struck out 5 for 36 fantasy points.
Yeah.
And he had struggled in a start against the Dodgers. And then the last 2 starts, he pitched 5 shutout innings and struck out 6 in Miami. And then 6 shutout innings and only allowed 1 run and struck out 9 for 52 fantasy points in the start before that. So he's bounced back a little bit since that start against the Dodgers, which a lot of people are going to struggle against the Dodgers. So I'm not too concerned about that. So the main concern here would be the weather. If that holds up, I do like Gray at under 9K on DraftKings.
I like it. I'm going to go on the opposite side of that game. I'm going to go with Ian Anderson. I know he's given up some runs. He's given up some homers this year, but I don't respect that Washington team. I mean, I of course, they have a superstar there, and it goes without saying he's one of the best hitters in the game. But if you can get past him and hold him down at just a couple hits, not bombs, obviously Nelson Cruz isn't the same player. I mean, he's probably a breath away from retirement, and they just have a lot of AAA, AA kind of guys in that lineup. I think that Anderson can settle in. He's not pitched terribly. He's just, he's given up, some hits and things like that, and a couple of homers. But all in all, he's had a few difficult matchups, and I think he gets a little bit better one here. I mean, he did face Oakland and Colorado in the last 2 games, so you would say that's a fairly favorable matchups, but he scored 37 and 36. I think he can do the same thing with a Washington team that I would consider is somewhere in that Oakland and Colorado level. He had a little tougher outings earlier in the season, but not horrible against Boston and the Mets, a few of those teams that were decent. So, he's not going to strike out the world, probably 6, 7 strikeouts, but that would be plenty for me. Again, when I can get Ian Anderson at 89, where people are going to be paying 10-8 for Manoah, we got an extra $2,000 worth of money for hitting when I think they may have similar stats when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think they're better against lefties too, because they crushed Aaron Ashby and Eric Lauer, but they struggled against Jason Alexander yesterday. So
I'm with you 100%. I agree completely. The other spot I'm going to go, and it's weird because he hurt me so bad that last outing, and I had him everywhere, and he hasn't pitched great either. And I'm going to go back to Christian Javier. I know it's shaky, but it's in Texas. That's not the easiest park to hit it out. Texas has a few guys in that lineup that are not good. Yes, they're starting to get production from their $500 million, infield up the middle. But I think Javier can get his, 6 innings. He's gotten knocked out early 2 games in a row. But I think he'll get back to, a 6-inning, 6-7 strikeout game, get us at low 30s. And so I'm just looking, give me low 30s for my 2 pitchers, cheaper than the really expensive guys. And Javier's price isn't as cheap, certainly, as Anderson, but it's still going to save you a lot of bucks on Alcantara, Nola, and Manoah. So that's the direction I'm going today. It's a little contrarian. And if I have some courage, I'm going to watch, things through the day, because if, the weather doesn't change, I may go Josiah Gray with you to go with Anderson and back-to-back and hopefully like a 2-1 game. That's a possibility because he's much cheaper. And then I'm going to nibble around with a couple of these other guys, depending on when I see lineups and what comes out. But the bottom line is, I believe I'm going to have pitchers that can score right with those top 3 price guys and have about an extra $3,000-$4,000 for hitting.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, a little bit different. All right, who's your fade pitcher, sir?
It's going to be Alcantara. He's 11-3 on FanDuel, 10-2 on DraftKings. He's just too expensive. Tough matchup. Philly other than yesterday when I don't know what happened against Arizona. They had won 9 of their last 10 games. And it's just, I don't want to go there. There's no way. So Alcantara is my fade.
Yeah, and I'm going to fade Nola. I mean, he's given up some bomb city lately. I know Miami's not the best hitting team, but since they got Aguilera back, they're hitting better, and their home run possibilities, and ball flies out of that park in Philly, man. You know, I still keep thinking about that Tucker home run from like 3 days ago. He swung like one-handed, and it went into like the 3rd or 4th row. It's ridiculous. So. I don't trust any pitcher right there, and it's going to be nicer, you know, nice weather too. So that's my fade pitcher. All right. How about BVP? What do you have, sir?
I'm actually going to go with a little bit of a value play here, at least on FanDuel, where he's only 2,600. It's going to be Cole Calhoun. He's 700 against Christian Javier with 7 hits and 10 at bats, 3 singles, a double, and 3 home runs.
Yeah,
so I like the value. He's 4,300 on DraftKings, so you can probably find better plays at that price on DraftKings. But 26, I like that price on FanDuel.
Yeah, and you know, I've played him a few times because he's a cheaper cleanup hitter, and he just has not been good. But I get it. I mean, his BVP is ridiculous. Anytime somebody's batting 7 for 10 against somebody, I mean, it's a joke. But I'm hoping that Javier can contain him.
Yeah. Mike Trout had similar numbers, though, against Taijuan Walker, and he didn't do anything last night.
He didn't do a thing. Yeah.
It shows that it can definitely swing the other way. So
yeah, since I went so contrarian hitting, I'm just going to go chalk pitching, or I mean, vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bryce Harper, you know, 9 for 25, batting 360 against Alcantara. So maybe it's not a completely chalk play because a lot of people are going to play Alcantara, so they won't play Harper. But, you know, 4 extra base hit, he's homered off him. Plus, he's walked 6 times. So, again, one of the things I look for is a good batting average, some extra base hit potential, and seeing the ball well against them to walk as well. So, OPS over 1,000. Just, you know, Harper is always a threat for at least 1 homer, sometimes 2. So, the ball's flying in Philly like that. I'm hoping that's where I'm going to get some of that extra money that I saved to spend.
Yeah.
Home run call, sir?
Yordan Alvarez. He's 4 for 9 with a single, 2 doubles, and a home run against Taylor Hearn. He's been hitting well against lefties, and I just kind of feel like he's due to hit one today. So
very good. I'm going to go back to the Mighty Might. I'm going to go Jose Altuve also against Taylor Hearn. It's 3 for 10, 2 extra base hits. He's homered off him. And, you know, just he's such a spark plug. And he always hits great against the Rangers, too, for some reason. So I think Altuve, I'd love to have that quick 14 points pop up there on DraftKings. And what is it, 18.8 on FanDuel?
18.7 on FanDuel.
18.7, yeah. It pops up there, and it's like, yes, now it's game on. So
exactly.
I'm not only wanting a homer from, I want it to lead off the game.
I like it. I like it, Coach.
All right, my friend, stacks, which we forgot the last time, and people almost had a heart attack. They had to call the National Guard. It was a disaster.
Well, we've already got 2 of the guys mentioned, so we might as well go with the Houston stack. I like that against Taylor Hearn. Also like Toronto against Kyle Bradish. And then we got to pick on Flexen, I feel like, with Minnesota. Those would be my top 3 stacks on this slate.
Yep, my favorite is Minnesota against Flexen, 2-7, 4.35 ERA. He had some decent starts, but he's due for a back-to-back homers for Buxton, Correa, and Polanco kind of thing. I mean, I can see him get lit up. You know, you got Kepler sitting probably down in that 5-hole lefty against Flexen. That's going to sting. And even down like in the 8th spot, Larnach, the lefty can pop one out. So, and if they DH Miranda and bat him 9th, I mean, there's no free squares with Minnesota. And I think I really love that stack. I can go 3-4 deep with Minnesota and feel pretty damn good about it. So That is definitely my favorite stack. And then, I agree with you. I think that Houston's a nice little stack today against Hearn. I mean, Hearn strikes some guys out and everything, but, the Houston righties with Altuve and Bregman and Gurriel and even Pena, Siri, and Maldonado. I mean, they have a lot of guys that can catch up to him. And he, if he's not completely on his game, he definitely can get roughed up. There's no question about it. So, yeah. That's where I'm going.
Speaking of catch up to, did you see that pitch that Edwin Diaz threw last night?
Yes.
102.
How can you generate that much power off to a 38-mile-an-hour pitch?
Gosh. Yeah.
Was it 38?
30. It was, I think it was
36.
Of course, he was a position pitcher.
Yeah.
And it was 35 miles an hour.
Unbelievable.
That's all just stayed up there, and then it just, that was like watching Little League or something. Like, I don't even know what that was. That was crazy.
I don't know how you generate that much power off a
35-mile-an-hour pitch. Yeah,
it's almost impossible. You have to be like just so incredibly strong to do that. It's just that simple.
Was crazy. Who was it that did that again? Who hit the home run?
I can't remember.
Oh, it was Higashioka. That's who it was.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, Higashioka. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I saw that and I couldn't believe it, but that's one for the record books, no doubt about it.
Was. So, yeah,
all right, man, prize picks?
Prize picks, I'm going with Yordan Alvarez over 8.5. I got him hitting a home run, so he'll obviously get over that if he does. But even if he doesn't, I still think he can get over that 8.5 fantasy score.
He's one of my favorite players in the league. So I always love to play him. He's just one of the true talents. Now, I hope he keeps it up because he just signed a big fat extension. So I'm a little bit afraid, but yeah. And since I'm going to go Christian Javier. I know it's risky and it's going to be low owned, but I'll take it. 5.5 strikeouts. I think there's enough strikeouts in that Texas lineup. I think he settles down a little bit in a better ballpark. I'll tell you what, Houston is, like I say, is ridiculous. Is this at Houston or at Texas?
It's at Texas, but
yeah, that's what I thought. I confused myself for a second because, like at the point I made, that's why I made that whole point with the Tucker home run and stuff. I just think Javier. I read it wrong here on Prize Picks, but I just think that helps him being in Texas and some of those bombs, the balls that are regular old fly balls would get out of Houston. So I like him here. And the longer he goes, if he can get the 6+ innings, I think he gets the 5.5 strikeouts.
Yeah. And they're in the bottom 10 lately in strikeouts. So they've been striking out at a higher rate lately. So I like that.
Yeah. They have some poor guys at the bottom of that order. No doubt about it.
My other play, I'm a little concerned that you might have it as well, but it's going to be Chris Flexen under 17.5 pitching outs. I don't think he gets to that far in the game. I honestly think he'll probably get knocked out around the 4th inning. So,
yep. Well, I have Chris Flexen under 24.5 fantasy score.
Okay.
Well, so we sort of have the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think he gets to the mid-20s. I think he gets bombed around. I'm predicting he gives up 3 or 4 home runs in this game. I really do. I think he gets smacked.
Okay. I like it. I do like it. And they're due after getting held in check by Springs yesterday.
I had Springs, though.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, he worked out. That's what made me cash. If you can get an SP2 that saves you bucks, to get that extra money, man, I'll tell you what, that makes just a world of difference, no doubt about it. So, all right, outstanding. Did we forget anything this time?
Not this time.
All right. Well, very cool. I hope everybody tuned in for the whole podcast. It was Crash, Deb, and I at the beginning talking about Game 5 for the NBA Finals, and then Crash and I here knocked out the whole entire baseball slate for this evening. So hopefully this gets all your DFS needs taken care of. I'll be posting a U.S. Open golf podcast tomorrow to get that one out a day early. That's going to be exciting, especially with all the buzz with that Live Golf League and those guys playing and all the hard feelings. It's gonna get ugly. So it's gonna be fun to watch, though, no doubt about it.
Fun Father's Day weekend with all that going on.
It is gonna be a blast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Crash. Great job as usual. And we really do appreciate everybody listening in. If you want to join us, dfscoachtalk.com. Jump in there with us. We'd love to have you. Also, if you want to check us out on Twitter, we're at DFS Coach Talk. Crash is at JP Davis 1982, and I am at Joe Sarvati. So thanks so much for spending time with us. Enjoy your Monday. Enjoy these great sports evening tonight and the whole week ahead. We plan on just crushing it all week. So thanks for joining us, and enjoy your day, enjoy your week, and we'll be back again tomorrow when we look to crush it in MLB and NBA DFS and prize picks.